International Women's Day is not just a day of celebration. It is a day of reckoning. The voices of the forgotten, the abused, and the erased do not stay silent. The past does not rest. The blood spilled for women's rights demands justice, and sometimes, that justice does not come in peace. If, on March 8th, you hear a knock at your door, a whisper from your screen, or a red handprint where none should be, do not answer. Do not look back. And whatever you do, do not count the names. March 25, 1911, the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. It remains one of the deadliest workplace disasters in American history. 146 workers perished, 123 of them women, trapped behind locked doors as fire consumed everything. But there was one strange anomaly. The fire officially started at 4:45 p.m. Yet, a pocket watch recovered from the wreckage had stopped exactly 15 minutes earlier. Witnesses reported that before the flames erupted, they heard laughter, not of workers, but something deeper, something unnatural. The clock opened the door. And we walked straight into hell. The stories only got worse. Survivors swore they saw a shadow moving through the flames, untouched. One girl, Clara, screamed, "They locked us in. They want us dead." But after the fire was extinguished, Clara's body was never found. Only her half-burned dress remained, and behind her workstation, a single, perfect handprint scorched into the wall. For years after the tragedy, workers in nearby buildings claimed they heard the pounding of fists on locked doors, the shrieks of women long since turned to ash. The worst part? Each year, on March 8th, a single red rose appeared outside the factory ruins, placed next to a rusted key. A century later, in 2011, the cursed pocket watch was put on display at a museum to commemorate the fire's 100th anniversary. The night before the opening, a security guard was found dead, his body drained of blood, his fingers shattered as if he had been clawing at an invisible door. On the wall above him, smeared in something dark, were the words, "Count all 146. "1919 was a year of riots, violence, and injustice. Nearly 1,000 people died in racial and labor conflicts across America. But few remember Evelyn Carter, a black schoolteacher who was beaten to death for daring to file charges against a white man who assaulted her. Her murderers were never convicted. But Evelyn didn't rest. 1 year later, in 1920, a socialite named Lila Monroe threw a grand Women's Day party in Chicago. Lila had been there the night Evelyn was killed. She saw everything. But she had stayed silent. That night, Lila was found dead in her bedroom, hanging from a chandelier. But she hadn't just hanged herself. Police discovered that before her death, she had sewn her own lips shut. On her bedroom wall, 5 blood-red handprints were found, perfectly spaced. Investigators suggested it was part of an old ritual, one meant to summon justice beyond the grave. Since then, March 8th has carried a curse in Chicago. Every year, one woman vanishes. Their homes left undisturbed, doors still locked, nothing stolen. The only clue left behind? A single red handprint on the wall and a scrap of paper reading, "I remember your face." In 2019, a college student named Maya dismissed the story as urban legend. She posted a TikTok video laughing at the red hand ghost. 2 days later, Maya live-streamed herself getting ready for a Women's Day party. She smiled, chatted, and waved to her viewers. But as she turned off the stream, the comments section flooded with frantic messages. "Who is that behind you?" Maya never posted again. The police found her phone on her bed, still recording, but she was gone. The only thing left in her room was a mirror, smashed from the inside. (1927) Dr. Edgar Lynch, a devout eugenicist, took control of St. Mary's Hospital in Boston. Under his leadership, hundreds of women, mostly poor immigrants and women of color, were forcibly sterilized. The goal? Purifying the race. But some women didn't just lose their fertility. They lost something else. One patient, Mary O'Connell, awoke after her surgery only to realize her uterus hadn't been removed. It had vanished. Doctors could not explain how her reproductive organs had disappeared without a trace. Mary was hysterical. "It's in the walls. It's screaming." She died the next morning, her body aged decades overnight. On her abdomen, a scar in the shape of a uterus, pulsing as if alive. Years later, a woman named Lucy checked into a Boston hospital for IVF treatment. Doctors discovered something horrifying. Her uterus was covered in hundreds of tiny stitches, forming a grotesque, intricate web. The medical team was baffled. That night, hospital cameras recorded Lucy wandering the halls in a trance, clutching a scalpel, whispering, "Give it back. Give it back." By morning, she was gone. The only thing left behind was a blood-stained surgical mask and a single note. They were never meant to be taken. Dr. Helen Ross, a paranormal researcher, uncovered the horrifying truth. The women who had been sterilized at St. Mary's had performed a dark ritual. Using their own stolen wombs, they had created an unholy relic, a network of lost souls seeking revenge. Every year, on March 8, the ritual strengthens. Hospitals report missing patients, and newborns are found with birthmarks shaped like tiny hands. The doctors who participated in the sterilizations? Many vanished without a trace. The ones who remained alive were found in their homes, their bodies hollowed out from the inside, as if something had crawled out of them. March 8, a day to honor women worldwide. But beneath the flowers and celebrations, do you know, this day is drenched in blood? Tonight, we uncover the darkest, most horrifying truths behind International Women's Day. A day marked not only by history but by suffering, revenge, and whispers of those who never found peace.